Jay here. On tonight's edition of Beer on a Budget, we will be discussing Alright, for tonight's budget beer, we actually have a lager. We have Red Stripe Lager. It's brewed in Jamaica by a brewery, and I'm going to slaughter these names. I apologize in advance. Desnos and Geddes Limited is the brewery. It's an American adjunct style lager. It has a beer advocate score of 70 and clocks in at 4.7 ABV. Now, I don't know a whole lot about their brewery or anything about it. I mean, I've had the occasional Red Stripe in the past. It's been years and years since I've had one, but I was in a store and I saw it, and I'm like, hey, $2 for 24 ounces, that's a budget beer. Let's do a review. So it's been a long time since I've had one of these. Let's crack it open, see how it is. One thing to be noted for this beer is, unlike most budget beers, this one you actually need an opener for. No twist off there, so I'll give them props for that. That's one high mark for them. The bottle's a little rough to pour out of in this 24 ounce size. It's not very well shaped for pouring. It wants to slosh around a bit. It pours to your standard American lager color, about the usual amount of carbonation. Though it poured to a fairly decent head that's somewhat lingering around. It's fading, but not as quickly as most of these beers tend to. Yeah, little to no lacing, which should be expected. Well, it really doesn't smell good. It's got an odd scent to it. It's kind of a malt with just a tiny hint of hop, but I'm having a hard time putting my nose onto what scent that is. It's not a horrible scent, but it's not a really good one either. If you're going by scent, this one may have been better left in the bottle. Kind of don't want to taste it now, but here we go. It's kind of harsh, and it's got a very distinct bitterness to it that's a lingering kind of aftertaste. It's definitely bitter. There's a little sweetness on the front of your mouth, but once you swallow, there's a very bitter, lingering taste in it. It's almost like a stale bitter. It's not horrible. It's not undrinkable. The mouthfeel of it is actually quite full-bodied for the style of beer it is. It is a little harsh to drink on the swallow. It's not real smooth, but it's not entirely bad either. Matter of fact, I'm going to pause and enjoy this, or try to, before I give you my ratings on it. Alright, well, I'm back with my final thoughts and rankings on this beer. I really tried to enjoy it, and I tried to find something positive about it, but unfortunately I really couldn't. The best way you could describe this beer is crisp to the point of harshness, and there is an aftertaste with a bittering that isn't the kind of bittering you get from a good Pilsner or a good IPA or something like that makes your mouth water and want another sip. The bittering you get from this beer is coarse and harsh and way down in your throat, and it really makes you just want something else. So that being said, I'm going to give this a sessionability. I'm going to give it a 2-pack. I mean, it's not undrinkable, but I don't know that you're really going to want to. It's really tough because, I mean, I could probably drink this beer, several of them, if there was nothing else around. It's not so bad that it's undrinkable. But given the choice between this and something else, providing that something else isn't far worse, on an equal playing field, I'm probably going to choose something else over that lingering, harsh bitterness that just lasts with you. For overall, yeah, it ain't going to do real well there either. I'm going to give it a 1. A 1-pack rating. It's not very good. I know this is everybody's favorite part of these budget beer videos, so maybe, unlike most of these beers, it'll get better when you chug it, but I'm all topped off. I'll let it decarbonate there for a minute. If you're watching this, check out ohio-beer.com this week. We got a special feature going on there this week. It's a collaboration week where we're reviewing beers that are done between multiple breweries, where 2 breweries get together and do an experimental beer, a really great beer. And these are the beers featured on ohio-beer.com this week. Run over there, check it out if you're interested in some really top-notch, unique beers and what they're like to drink. Maybe you can try to go out in your area and find them. They're going to be really hard to find and come across. So if you wanted to try one, get out there and start looking quickly, because they're not going to be around very long. That being said, we're done carbonating now. Jamaican Red Stripe Lager. Let's find out if it's better chugging. Chuggable it is. Just barely. It doesn't really taste any worse chugging it, but it doesn't taste any better either. A lot of these budget beers and pilsners get a real tinny, nasty taste to them when I chug them. And this one doesn't get that. But it doesn't taste any better either. And a lingering bitterness. It's just so harsh. It's killing me. I wouldn't call this beer overly bitter, but it just doesn't go away. And it doesn't leave you wanting more. That being said, hope you have a good night.